And we're starting the second semifinal round of junior women's foil here at the Junior and Cadet Fencing World Championships in Egypt. We've got Jessica Guo of Canada and Israel's Nicole Pustilnik.
I expect this to be a tough match.
You mentioned that Pustilnik trains in the U.S., even though she's fencing for Israel.
She lives in California. She's a California girl. And I believe Jessica's in Toronto.
Grow up by 2 points here in the first period.
Make that one now.
1-2.
Oh, nice. And Pustilnik, when she gets in there deep in that infighting, she's pretty tough. Gu was able to keep the right distance and make a nice pair of reposts on the back.
Off target. Again here in foil, only hitting the torso. If you hit the arm, the leg, the mask, you'll be off target and it doesn't count.
No. Gotta be very precise. And the other thing is you gotta put enough pressure on that blade or the point to make sure that it goes off.
500 grams, I believe, for foil. 750 for epic.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, it's not that much if you push on it. That sounds like a lot, but it's not really that much. It doesn't. If you just do 500 grams, it doesn't hurt. But in reality, most touches are probably much more than 500 grams because they're coming in at velocity and.
Well, it's a lot when you are a saber fencer and you've got to put 0.
All it takes in saber is 1 electron to jump.
I find that the times when I fence foil, it's so challenging. Saw that classic Pustilnik go way down, come back.
The arrow?
The arrow, that's right.
Her classic move, her signature move.
Wasn't able to get it to work on that particular phrase.
But everyone out there can look for that. It's something that she's honed to perfection.
Yeah, but just because you know it's coming doesn't mean you can do anything about it.
No, that's true. You know, that's so true. If you're a fencer, you know what that's like. There are people that just can be very frustrating because you've seen it and you've thought about how to counter it or how to deal with it, and yet it still keeps happening.
Yeah. Comes off, tries to make a quick attack.
And part of it's just because it comes at random times where you might not be expecting it. You know, you can't exactly predict it.
Simultaneous attacks. Pustilnik wants to straighten that blade out.
Yeah, there are different regulations for the different weapons for how much curve you can have in the blade, and foil's sort of in the middle. Epee has to be, you know, epee blades can bend a little bit.
They're very stiff though.
Yeah.
The little being the operational load.
Well, that's actually it's kind of a safety thing because you want them to bend a little bit if they are stiff. Nice single attack.
Easy attack. Very, very clean.
Back in the days when we used to allow the flick in foil, you'd see a lot of blades bending at a very
yeah.
deep level. Off target. That crouch saved her.
Oh, yeah. She uses that to perfection.
Tied 4-4 coming to the end of the first period. Inviting with a point in line and then countering once she takes the attack and taking the point, taking the touch.
Attack was off target.
It was off target.
Displacing that target, so hard to hit her. It's just so hard to hit her. And she is very good with her repos.
Right. Didn't work that time.
Yeah. Well, she's a very difficult fencer to fence if you fence her game for sure.
Coming up to the break. There it is. 1 minute for both coaches to give some advice as to how to get past this deadlock.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is the physical game of chess, you know. You've seen what their opens are. Now we want to see what the next move will be in this next round. Pustilnik's been doing her classic, you know, I mean, just working, moving. I think the only thing that they're going to figure out with her is, okay, so I'm able to make the defense, but how am I going to make sure that my repost is effective? Gu's got to figure out how am I going to hit her. You know, I mean, that's her stock and trade, is making sure that she can hit without being hit. But I'll go.
Okay. As you can see, Nicole wearing a mask under her mask. We talked about that earlier. Some of the fencers are choosing to do that, but they don't have to when they're on the piste.
Well, she has it on her. She has it on her chin. She doesn't have it over her nose.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I see that. But some of them do wear it when they're fencing.
Absolutely.
And it's required in U.S. Nice attack by Nicole, with resulting in 6-5. Seems like they're picking up the pace here a little bit.
Nicole's able to counterattack in.
Requesting a weapon check.
To see if the point's working. Because if it
Yeah.
doesn't, then it nullifies the touch.
Right. And the referee checks everything. They check the tip. They check make sure the wire's connected, both at the bell and at the where it connects right to the main cable. As any armorer will tell you, 9 times out of 10, it's the cables that fail.
Once again, it's so hard to hit Nicole.
Rose touch arrives, but is called as an off target for Pustilnik.
Be interesting to see what the referees decide on this one.
She asked for a review. Jessica did. Confirmed it was off target, so nothing done, nothing gained. Attack parried and countered by Guo. 6-8. So she sort of uses that arrow move defensively and offensively. She sort of does both, doesn't she?
Well, when she goes back is when she's doing the defense. She just drops all the way down.
But when you're down like that and somebody's attacking you, you have nowhere to go.
Well, she can defend. She defends pretty well from that position.
Yeah, I mean that last touch being an exception, but yes.
Yeah.
Referee in this match is Mr. Hertzkopf from Denmark.
So Jessica is able to make the parry, but she's not able to get the repost on target. Any target. Even if she'd been off target, it would have stopped the... Okay, now she's pulling distance, doing her own stop thrust. Hear a coach saying when she steps in, make the response short. Jessica.
And immediately after this, we'll be going into the men's semifinal.
This is an important touch. This is for, I feel like this is for world dominance, literally to go for the gold. They're really trying to establish who's going to be able to, which game is going to work.
But these girls are very, very well matched. They're very equally matched. The other one is.
Both attack. Two strong attacks.
Pustilnik searching. Hits off Tarja.
She pressed her.
But
yeah, she tried to get the remise in.
Yeah. Guo takes the point to 9-9. We're basically halfway through the second period, so we're halfway through the whole round, and we're basically no farther than when we started.
And this is, Nicole has done that so effectively, but this time Jessica's able to put a point on it.
When you have two fencers that sort of get into a bind and get too close together, the referee stops the action. Sometimes things will go a little longer than you think they will, but ultimately the action is stopped.
Well, they were both putting pressure on each other, trying to keep close enough so that the other can't make a repost and fighting.
Nice attack by Nicole. Arrives.
Jessica parried it. She just didn't get the repost in.
Right.
Nicole's able to make the remise.
Right. If Go had come back and hit her on a valid target area, then she would have gotten it, but she missed.
So now she's
an arrow parry.
Yeah, but you can see what Jessica's doing now. She's like, okay, she's trying to get a remise before Nicole can come back with a full repost. But that time she was
clean
able
attack
to,
from kind of a low line.
She got hip flexor. It looks like she got strained it, twitched it a little bit.
Both attacks arrive, given to the Canadian.
The attack started from the left. Both points arrived, but the
Both points arrived, yeah. Well, they were both attacking. Just one attacked a little sooner than the other. They both had the same idea.
Well, yeah, like when.
But it's a timing thing.
Yeah, that right-of-way thing just seems to elude you sometimes.
Oh, I fully admit that. Having been an épée fencer for 30 or 40 years, I never had to really think about that.
Novel concept. Yep. Once again, the attack is starting. Pustilnik her defense is incredible, and her attack is also very strong. But if you can overcome that defense and her defense, that's something. She got a yellow card for not getting on guard.
Yeah. What did I do?
You didn't get on guard when I told you to. You didn't listen. And now they're adjusting the scoring machine.
Have you fenced at all since this whole mask thing and worn a mask when you did it?
Yes, about 3 weeks ago.
How did that feel?
First of all, I was out of shape when I started, so it was not a pleasant experience at all.
Gotcha.
Felt like I was gasping for air. But, when we got ready to prepare for collegiate competition, I started having our team fence and mask for about 2 weeks before we competed. First day, they hated it. They never liked it, but they could compete in it.
About half a minute out from the end of the second period. 11-11. Looks quite likely that we'll be going into the third period to get a winner that will advance to the gold medal round. And it could be either one of them at this point.
Well, considering they're tied and look like they're fencing at an extremely even.
Yep. Pretty even odds here, I'd say.
Yeah. I wouldn't be taking this one to Vegas for sure. Or Macau.
And there's the 1 minute break. So, all right, Don, if you were these two coaches and you had to give each one of these girls 2 sentences each, what would you be telling them?
I would tell each of these ladies that they need to go to their strengths. They need to go with what they do best, and they need to be very focused and intense on getting that job done. They know what their strengths are. For Jessica, it's making a solid attack or a clean parry repost. For Nicole, it's working her defense and making sure that she gets her point on. And once she slows her opponent down, going to that very fast attack that she has. So I would say, come out. For Jessica, it would be making the attack, and for Nicole, making sure her defense worked.
Well, we're 5 seconds away from the final period where we're going to have a winner. I mean, unless it's tied at the end of the third period, in which we go we go into sudden death. But
and the way this one's going,
could happen.
It could. I think they'll be able to score. One of them will score 4 touches in the next 3 minutes, is my guess.
Women's foil takes longer. Actually, in a team foil event, they give it more, almost a half hour more time. And it's because of all the off targets, the reviews, everything,
Yeah, the off target, I would like to see an actual statistics of the number of off targets in women's foil versus the other weapons.
Well, we don't have a lot of off targets in
I was going to say
that bad.
So Jessica did just exactly it. She went to her attack.
And this is a point where, at this point, every touch counts a lot here. There's the margin for error has diminished greatly.
Yeah. But what I do like what Nicole's doing now is that Nicole is working on being aggressive and making an attack, because otherwise it becomes too predictable.
Right. Single touch, now it's 12-12.
With opposition, you just made it once again. If you can't hit it, you can't score a touch. And once it going to the attack.
And once it gets to the third period, even though you have 2.5 minutes of time, this is what, especially with younger fencers, you really have to counsel them on still taking your time, because you still have, 2.5 minutes is a lot of time to make, 2 or 3 points. And you feeling like you're in that third period, like you've really got to kind of rush, and you have to get control of yourself and not rush.
Well, Jessica was complaining that Nicole was just running into her with her body. The referee says, you're participating in that action. Oh, Potter coming in. Once again, she's playing a really nice game of attack, defense.
So Guo needs to kind of get a good strategy going here if she's going to have any.
Her strategy's got to be attack. She's got to go with an attack pair repost game right now, which is very different against Nicole. Making the attack. Now she's got to make sure she puts the point on. Go to core.
fencers past each other, and that, of course, stops the action.
Well, that's the advantage. Nicole will just keep pushing through. Then once again, her whole game is about making sure there's no target to hit, and she does an amazing job of it.
Right. It's tricky in foil, you know, because you got to do it without getting caught for covering your target area.
She doesn't do a lot of that.
Like, and there it is.
One light touch.
15-12, and
Nicole Pustilnik will go to the final gold medal match.